It's about time I formally introduce myself. My name is Rishi, and for the last 13 years, that's how long my business has been around, I've been thinking about one simple question: why do shoppers behave the way they do? I've been wanting to get into the minds of shoppers to understand how they choose between product A, which is pretty good, and product B, which is also pretty good, but for slightly different reasons. How do they make these judgment calls? Do they carry with themselves a spreadsheet? Do they make choices based on social proof? Do they make choices based on the way the product story is being told? And what we've concluded after running hundreds of experiments is that the features and benefits, while they might be the most simple way for a marketer to communicate what the product does, is not really how shoppers make a decision. It's a much more complicated web. And we kind of bucket this entire universe into a term called a product story. A product story is a very specific type of story that has been constructed to welcome the shopper, to educate the shopper on what the product does, to guide them through that journey of awareness, interest, desire, and then it finally takes them and gives them the motivation to pull the trigger. Remember, our objective is to get a shopper who has never heard of our brand before, has never bought from us before, potentially has never bought this type of product before, to take the risk and say, I'm going to put money up front so I can purchase this product. It's a very specific type of mathematical problem that we're trying to solve. Now, over those 12-year period, we've been running lots of experiments, and a lot of it was kind of a shot in the dark. I had this instinct, launched the idea, some work, some don't work. There wasn't really a pattern to it. But then more recently, we've actually identified a very specific formula for how we develop product stories. And the reason I'm making this video is because I have a very important announcement. And my announcement is that I've decided to open source our process. So I want to completely open source our template, which means I will make it fully available to everyone. You can use it. You're using exactly the same template that we use internally. You can use it for your own business. You can use it for your clients. If you're an in-house team member, you can use it for your in-house projects. And I think this is going to fundamentally help you. Now, in the next 6 months, I'm going to launch a course. And in that course, we'll kind of pick each element and describe it in excruciating detail. For now, I want to actually give you a little teaser of what our process actually includes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and I'm going to show you step one of our process. So we call this deconstruction. What we do is we go to the website, the product page. We decide if we're going to be focusing on the mobile version of the page or the desktop version of the page. Most of your sales are happening on the desktop and you want to further improve conversion rates for the desktop, then the screenshot has to be of the desktop page. So we are literally taking a screenshot of the whole page. And then of course we do something that's even more insane, which is we start annotating each element. Every element, even though none of this is relevant to our product story, right? The product description is happening here, but we are annotating every single element. We kind of call this an archaeological dig, and we're kind of just making note of everything, because remember, every element on a page, even stuff outside of the product description, is either supporting that primary sale or it's acting as a tax and is distracting the shopper. Simple example is, in the case of Dyson, we have a find a store button. Is this good for the primary sale? Is this bad for the primary sale? I don't know. I'm going to make note of it so I can at least start thinking about it. So we literally go and we annotate the whole thing. Once we've done that, this is our process document. It's very long. It's very detailed. But what I'm going to show you is just one aspect of our process document. So early, we don't even have the step numbers marked out yet, but I will eventually be sharing this entire thing. So so this section over here is really talking about how do we increase the visual impact of our sales pitch. Now, we don't look at visual impact simply in terms of images and videos. We look at it much more at a psychographic level. We're looking at it from a buyer psychology perspective. And so we've broken that step itself into sub-steps. One is using an analogy. Not enough brands are using analogies are incredibly powerful. So how can we use an analogy? If I was working on Dyson, and I hope to work with Dyson one day, how do we use an analogy to communicate an important attribute of this product? It could be the suction power, it could be how light the machine is, it could be how long the battery lasts. Whatever those attributes are, is there a proxy analogy that I can use so users can understand? Because remember, people don't actually have a point of reference for how much something weighs or how long a battery should last, but we do understand other things. And so by using an analogy that is easily understood, you're actually enhancing your sales pitch. Another aspect of that is adding a contrast. So these are all subsets of the visualization element. So those are like two sub elements of a pretty long template. And then 6 months from now, I'm going to launch a course and you'll be able to subscribe to it. You'll be able to pay for the course. We'll explain how to use the template, and then you'll be able to actually use the template for enhancing your product pages. And the promise is that if you follow this template, you will be able to drive a 20% improvement in conversion rates in the first 90 days. If this is of interest, give me your information below, or at least give me your name below, or say you're interested, and I can DM you, and I want to create a list of all the people that are interested so I can add you to my list. I'm not going to be emailing you, but when it's launched, I will send out an email. Thanks.